Reckless child abuse resulting in death in Colorado is still a very serious felony. It's a Class 2 felony. That's exactly the classification of second-degree murder. And so they both are Class 2 felonies. They both carry the presumptive range in prison of 8 to 24 years. And with exceptional circumstances, either of them, second-degree murder or child abuse resulting in death, can be as many as 48 years or as little as 4 years. So the summary of it is that the range in punishment, prison time, on reckless child abuse resulting in death is 4 years all the way up to 48 years.
Dan, let's talk about the decision that the then District Attorney Alex Hunter made not to sign this true bill, making it an indictment to go forward with the prosecution. He had to make his decision based on thinking about a different level of proof than the grand jury had in mind in making their decision. Talk about that, the different levels, the different standards of proof involved.
Sure. At a grand jury level, just like at a preliminary hearing level that recently occurred in the Holmes case, the grand jury or the judge in a preliminary hearing simply has to find that there's probable cause to believe that a person or persons committed the crime. That couldn't be more different in a jury trial. So what Alex Hunter was thinking about is, but can I prove this beyond a reasonable doubt? Because that's the burden the prosecution has at a trial. And so he seemingly decided, I'm not going to be able to prove this reckless child abuse resulting in death beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury.
This news coming out now, what do you think the potential impact of it could be down the line should we have an attempted prosecution of somebody, John Doe, somebody not named Ramsey? What problems or challenges would this news pose in that prosecution?
I don't think any of this grand jury proceeding would be admissible in a jury trial if someone else gets charged with the Ramsey case somewhere way down the road, or now for that matter. It could affect the plea bargaining. It could affect whether a prosecutor, the current prosecutor, is willing to bring charges. Those are all very subjective things that could come into play or not, I don't know. But as far as a jury making a determination in a future prosecution, I don't think any of this gets heard by the jury. I think a judge excludes it.
Talk about what you think the ramifications of this coming out now, 16 years after her death, 13 years after the grand jury finished their work. What does this mean going forward for the case? What's the fallout potentially, do you think?
I'm not sure if it's going to move the ball down the field as far as figuring out who actually did this, or as far as prosecuting anybody for doing this. So I don't know if it does anything in that regard. On the other hand, this was a case that was watched by the whole country, and this new information gives the country and the community some insight into how the criminal justice system works, and that's helpful. I mean, that's what, in essence, the First Amendment is about, and that is to let the citizens, let the community understand how government works, how the criminal justice system works, how government works in general, and this is helpful in that regard.
Do you think there's any question of fairness to the surviving target of this grand jury vote, John Ramsey, that this come out now? Do you think that there is a disservice in any way to this becoming public in regards to Mr. Ramsey?
You know, I think the community and the press normally have to err on the side of disclosure, having stories be public. having the community able to know. And sometimes it does have a negative effect on individuals, and this may well be emotionally difficult for John Ramsey. But in the balance, I think it's fair to say it's more important that the community knows how the process worked in this very case.